Good morning, everyone. Since Katie just likes to stare at the camera and make faces.
Well, I don't know if we're actually live yet. We'll see. And you've got this. Gotta get this muted. All right. What's happening, everybody? We've got the blazing Vegas sun.
Right in my
right in our
eyeballs.
eyes.
Morning sun. I had to shut all the blinds, like, because I have
And we're still like,
4 huge windows right in front of me. My desk faces the windows, and full on morning sun in this house. So
yeah, we even have the shutters like mostly
I can
closed.
barely see you all.
Anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is another one of our special BOSS Reseller Remix preview shows as we're leading up to the event in October. We're just a little over a month away.
Yep.
So welcome, everybody. And just a little introduction. Yeah, we can work on our tan while we list. It's true.
There you go.
Well, not me, because I'm in my cave at all times. I like to keep all the sunlight out.
Katy likes to
like
work
a vampire.
like a vampire. Yes, everything in her office is dark. She has blackout curtains over her windows with the shades closed.
Yeah,
it's like she's like at a teenage boy's cave in her office.
I don't see the problem.
I cannot function like that. I need sunlight. Yeah.
Well, when I do whatnot, I do open up the blinds, so I do let the sun does come into my cave every once in a while. But anyway, for anyone who hasn't watched our show before, I'm Katy. This is Vikki, aka Victoria, aka my fiance for another 100 days.
That's true, 100 days.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So
the wedding is in 100 days, guys. I still have time to move. Run. Get my
move?
Good,
You're just gonna move?
Good sneakers.
I don't see you running.
No.
I mean, let's just be honest here.
What is that? Was that a fat joke? Yeah, I don't see you running. In general, I don't see you running.
Okay.
I don't see you running.
Are you a runner? You like to run?
Yeah, no, I don't like to run.
I feel like I'm being accurate here.
I feel like nobody is shocked by that. I'm not an actual runner, but
have you ever been a runner?
I have tried.
Did you
running.
go through a running phase?
I
for
did
like
when
20 minutes.
When I was a teenager, when I was a cheerleader, and I used to actually run and I was a cheerleader.
How'd that go?
I was young and fit, and that's what happens. I didn't need it because I was young, but
Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. So yeah, we're like, I don't know, it's the meet and greet is on October 10th. That's going to be the start of the BOSS Reseller Remix, and it's the 7th right now. So yeah, we literally have over a month. So it's crazy. So we're just down to, after this, I'm going to be working on more remix stuff. I feel like at this point I'm doing more remix work than I am regular work.
That was the same thing last year. Like the last few weeks before the remix, and we'll talk to Josh about this in a few minutes, as I'm sure he has just recently learned. The last few weeks before an event just get crazy, right?
Yeah.
They're just all the little details, the phone calls, the emails, the follow-ups, the Zoom calls, the locking down all of the details, making sure all of the vendors have their space and they know what they're bringing and what time they have to do load in. And it's a lot. Getting the signage done, all of the signage. And last year we had a lot of signage that we purchased because it was our first year. And this year we'll be able to use it again. But obviously, depending on the sponsors and the vendors, it changes every year. So yeah, man, it's a lot of details.
Yep.
We had all the lanyards ordered, all of the name badges.
What happened with those lanyards, those name badges?
She's calling me out here, guys. She
ordered the name badges. And
apparently,
I opened the box and I pull it out and I'm like, what's the deal? They were seriously super tiny. Like they were. And I'm like, why is this so small? She's like, I ordered the same size as last year. And so I went and pulled out one from last year. It was like twice as big. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. So she had to order some more.
Yeah. So I just looked at the measurements and said, oh yeah, that sounds about right.
That's not how it works.
That's
not how measurements work.
I probably should have actually looked at the order from last year, or actually pulled out a badge from last year and said, what size did we use again? Yeah. So
I don't know, that probably would have been the way to go.
Yeah. So there's that. And then of course you've got to go in and we do t-shirts. So we've got to order all the t-shirts based on everybody's registration size. That's a whole other lot of work. And then we do all the name badges. So we've got to load everybody's name in, and whether they're a vendor or a speaker or they're just an attendee, all of that stuff. It's a lot of little minutia that gets, I think most people don't realize how much of the little stuff that has to happen to make sure the big stuff looks good, right? So Anyway, we're still super excited, very excited. We have a lot more sponsors and vendors this year than we had last year.
We still have sponsors sign up. I don't know. So Theresa is not here yet. She had an eBay call that she had to be on. So she's going to be a few minutes late, but she will be showing up. I don't know if we can announce this yet, so we'll see what she says, but we will give a teaser. We did just have another sponsor sign on. And we're really excited about it. And I think some of you guys are going to be super excited about it as well, because it'll be more representation from some platforms. So just saying, that's all I'm going to say.
And more FaceTime. That's one of the nice things, though. More FaceTime. Meeting. That's what we've all talked about with these reseller events in general. Obviously, the networking with other resellers and vendors and sponsors is the best part of any type of reseller get together, conference, convention, whatever you want to call it, whether it's eBay Open or the BOSS Reseller Remix or FlipCon that Harry Tornado Josh just did with Phoenix Resale. I mean, there's a lot of value that you get out far beyond your ticket price, far beyond panelists and speakers, which is all great. But the real best part happens before and after the event, right? It happens in the mornings when you're having coffee. It happens when you're sitting at lunch and you're talking to other resellers. It happens at night when you do the gatherings and get-togethers, where you sit down for dinner or you go and get a cocktail with somebody else or whatever it may be. That's the type of stuff where you're making connections. You're making, friendships, first of all, but you're also making business connections, and you're learning from other resellers what works for them, what didn't work for them.
Well, whenever I see like a post or something like that in like a Facebook group where they're talking about whether it's, the Remix or eBay Open or FlipCon, there's always going to be like a person or two who's kind of a jerk about it, and they kind of poo-poo it and say like, why would I pay money to go do this when, what are they going to be able to teach me? Like, that's ridiculous.
Everything's free.
Yeah. Which, listen, I get it. And I don't think everybody, it's not like you have to go to these events at all, but it's like, I feel like they're really disregarding the value of those in-person connections. And even if you got nothing from any panels at an event like this, it matters. Like, we have, because of going to events, we have friends who work for eBay, and things come up and we can text them or message them and be like, what's going on with this? Or can you help me with this? Or, making partnerships like, Vikki and Theresa and I all met through reselling and through reselling events. And now we put on this event and different kinds of business opportunities to come up. I know we've talked about this before, but I just think people have a hard time sometimes seeing the big picture of the value of this and how it really can help you elevate your business.
It can change the way you do business, and it can change your personal life too. Obviously, we're the in-person personal effect of that. But also, I've been reselling for 25 years, as has Theresa, and I feel like I'm a pretty knowledgeable expert in this field. However, I learn something new when I talk to people all the time. I learn something new when I have when these panels come together and I get to talk to other resellers and learn from other resellers. Everybody does things a little bit different, right? There's no blueprint that X, Y, and Z is what's going to make you a successful reseller. We've talked about that before, and everyone's definition of success is different. Whether that success for you means that you get to stay home with your kids or care for an elderly parent, or you don't have to work for the man anymore, whatever your version of success is, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be millions of dollars in sales a year to be successful. Maybe success for you is an extra $200 a week, so you can put it toward a vacation budget for your family, whatever. It doesn't matter, whatever your reason is.
Well, I mean, it's like our friend Trish, she was in the chat. She has a completely different business model than either you or me. And yet it was your conversations with her that finally kind of
helped me
turn on the light switch for you to be like, okay, I'm ready to hire somebody. And that really changed.
That elevated my business, and I was able to hire. And I had part-time people that worked for me in the past. And I'm not a very good delegator. I'm a very type A control freak. Those of you that know me, I'm not shocked by that comment whatsoever. But I am very much have to be hands-on in control of my business and everything else in my life. So it's really hard to learn to delegate and give up some of that control. And listening to Trish and how she did it was definitely what made me go further in hiring someone. In fact, I just hired a second person yesterday. I hired a VA to do all of my cross-posting, which is time consuming and is something I'm super excited about. So,
well, I see that somebody just joined us. What's up, Theresa?
Hey, we're in eBay Open mode. So we're having a pre-event thing tomorrow that I had to get all the technical stuff. So sorry I'm late.
That's
all
okay.
right.
I'm not going to make that one tomorrow because I have like 3 other Zoom calls tomorrow. So unfortunately,
it's
I'm going to miss
crazy.
the
And your
thing.
Whatnot show.
And my Whatnot show is right at the tail end of that.
Yeah, virtual stuff is great until everything is virtual.
And until it's like 7 things a day. And then you're like, when does it stop?
So anyway, so I'm here. Got all the kinks worked out.
Hello.
Hey.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and bring in our special guest? Of course, as you all know, we have Josh Varnell here from Harry Tornado.
Harry Tornado.
He attended the BOSS Reseller Remix last year just as a guest and attendee.
He and his beautiful wife, Haley.
And so this year we asked him to come back as a speaker. And so he's going to be on a panel about YouTube, monetizing YouTube. And kind of
talking about the monster that YouTube can be if you do it like Josh. I mean, really,
seriously,
let's be real.
Ridiculous. So let's go ahead and bring him in live via his garage, I believe.
Whoa.
What's happening, Josh?
I'm just excited. I was just listening to the conversation you guys were having made me even more excited for the BOSS Reseller Remix. So just really excited to get back and meet everybody. We had a great time in Vegas last year, and this year's going to be even better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I think it's we're excited to have you come back. When you bought tickets last year, we didn't know you. We knew of you, of course, because your channel is so big, as we said, and it's even more of a monster this year. Like, I recognized the name, but I was like, I don't know Josh on a personal level. I've never spoken to him. I've never met him. And we made it our goal that we wanted to talk to you last year because you were on the short list of people we wanted to ask to participate in the event. But we felt last year we asked just people we knew. Like, we wanted to just make sure it was just friends, people we knew. It's a big ask, a brand new event.
That's what we did for FlipCon. We only asked people that we had a relationship with because it's the first event. You don't want to reach out to strangers and then, depend on
exactly. It's a big ask to ask somebody to, fly in and attend an event and spend money on something that they've never heard of before. Right. So we made it a conscious choice last year. But we were so glad that you got to meet you and talk to you because we knew we wanted you to come back for this year. So we were able to make that happen.
Before we go, I want to know how many times people call you Harry instead of Josh.
I lose track. I do answer. Like, if I hear a Harry, like at the flea market, I always turn to look because it happens that often. So I
believe it.
So listen, I don't know about anybody else, but I don't really know kind of your origin story, Josh. Like, how did you get started reselling? And was it was YouTube first and then reselling, or you started reselling and then you went to YouTube? What happened?
Yeah, funny enough, YouTube was actually first. I'd wanted to start a YouTube channel for a long time since I was in high school, but it was just like the technology wasn't there. Like, we didn't have cell phone cameras, so you actually had to buy a camera that had the capability to do digital video, and this was like 2008, 2009. So that kept me out for a long time, and then 2018, I was like, all right, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I don't know what it's going to be about, but I'm just going to do it. You can go back and watch our first videos. They're like vlogs and like random, just interesting videos. And then I realized I'm like, if I want to, I started reselling like part-time. I found a Rally Roots video, them buying shirts for $5, selling for 25. I was like, okay, I like thrifting and I find good stuff all the time. And I'm like, well, I wish that was my size. I'd love to get that. And I was like, wait a minute. I could just buy it and sell it. It doesn't have to be my size,
Right.
So I started reselling, and there was like a 2 or 3 month overlap where I was making random YouTube videos and reselling. And then I was like, okay, if I want to grow on YouTube, I really need to pick a category and stick with it. And reselling was just what I was into at that time. So I started making those videos, and it took a while. It was like 9 months of like uploading pretty much one video a week before I was monetized, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. And then it just kept growing from there, and it grew to where it is now, 320 something thousand subscribers. My wife was able to quit her job. We do it full time. We've got this warehouse now in our backyard that we work out of. And so, yeah.
I think that's amazing. Even last year, I think when you were attending the remix last year, you were just about to hit 200,000 subs. So
that was actually that week was crazy because YouTube growth comes in like spurts here and there. And that week something was going, we had 2 videos that took off. Actually, when we were on the plane going to Las Vegas, I think we had like 165,000 subscribers. And by the time we left, we were up to like 181,000. So we got like 15,000 subscribers or something like that in the course of a week. And I actually had skipped an upload that week because we were at Vegas and I didn't have time to film and edit a video. And that day I skipped, we had like 350,000 views just randomly, like 2 different videos from like a year ago, just started taking off. One video went from like 400,000 views to like 800,000 views in the course of like 3 days. I have no idea why. Don't ask me. I wish I knew, because I'd love for that to happen again. That week was like our biggest growth week on YouTube ever, for sure.
And now you're over, I think, 330,000,
that's what you said.
which I think you might be at this point the biggest reselling YouTuber.
There's a couple.
I don't know if there's anyone over
who
that.
has like 600,000 subscribers.
Oh, really?
And
That's crazy.
Reezy Resells has like 400 and something thousand. But a lot of the subscribers don't really matter that much, because a lot of them are inactive. You might have your channels with 2 million subscribers, but they get 30,000 views a video. So I'm more focused on the views. I don't think we're quite up to Froggy Flip's level yet. He's I don't understand his success. It's absolutely wild. But we're doing well. We're very proud of where we are.
Well, here's to another boost in subscribers this year after Remix.
I hope so.
We're going to take credit for that.
Yeah, we're going to pick for you.
That's 120,000 subs. Well, no, it's true about the views thing, because like we've had our channel now for 4.5 years.
Yeah,
we're just little baby YouTubers. We have like over 10,000 subs. And then, the panel that you're going to be on with the niche lady, Danny, and you're going to be on with Mike, Mikey Begs the Money. And Mike was literally just starting his YouTube, or just started it like right.
He started the week after Remix last year. Mm-hmm.
And I think he's at like 6,000 subs right now, but his views are like 5, 10, 20 times more than what we get. It's just crazy. Like, he's got kind of whatever the algorithms are, and like whatever the tricks. And that's part of what, we're not going to get too deep into this, but that's basically a lot of what we're going to be talking about during your session is looking at somebody who just started literally a year ago and what they've been able to accomplish.
And Danny's almost 3 years ago. She started in January of 2019. I host a local meetup here in town, and for the Las Vegas community. And Danny happens to live here, as does Mikey Bags of Money. But Danny, we talked in January of 2019. What were our goals for the year? It might have been 2020, actually. It was January 2020. We all had great goals that year. So January 2020, at our meetup, I had everybody write down 3 things that they wanted to accomplish for the year, business related. What are the 3 things? And one of the things Danny had said was she wanted to get to 10,000 YouTube subs, because she had an old dormant channel that had like 3,000 or 4,000 subs. She hadn't put anything out in 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. And she just wanted to get to 10,000 subs. And now she's, I don't even know where she is now, but she's somewhere in the middle of between Josh and where she had started. So she's like, but she's getting tons and tons of views for every show. And she's, like she says, the niche lady, her products that she talks about and that she purchases and that, is definitely within a niche. And I think to have that much growth and have that many views on one specific niche is crazy.
Well, and then you see people who have like well over 100,000 subs and they are not hardly getting any views at all. So it's definitely,
it's all about harnessing that algorithm and trying to figure out what works. And Josh, you have figured it out. Like, you are definitely the YouTube.
Again, it comes in waves. I think YouTube is mainly skill based, but there is a little bit of luck that goes into it. And again, it comes in waves. I remember in the Gap last year, the last day of the Remix, where like it was after the conference, but before the after party, I was sitting at a table outside with Danny, and I was like looking at her channel. I looked up her views, and I was like, "You're getting like really good." I think she was getting like 2 million views a month or something, which was like more than other channels with 10 times her subscribers. And I was like, this is where it's at. Like, I think a lot of people think you have to have hundreds of thousands of subscribers to have success on YouTube. But one thing I'm really excited to talk about on the panel is how to be a successful YouTuber without having all the typical signs of success on YouTube. Like, there's channels with 5,000 subscribers that are full-time YouTubers because they know how to monetize. They know how to be very efficient with the way they run their business. And I'm excited to dig into that a little bit more.
Yeah, and it looks like Zigget said that they bought their ticket, or they're coming, and they really want to start a YouTube but don't have a clue how to start and get subscribers. So I think you're going to get a lot out of this session.
I know we had talked about it when we were even just chatting last year about having you join. I know that you were saying like YouTube is your love, like YouTube is where you want what you want to talk about, what you enjoy talking about. And clearly it's something that you know really well.
I don't know though, because I feel like Josh actually has a mistress now, and her name is Whatnot.
Yeah, Whatnot is really fun, and we like reselling too. Like, so like Whatnot, it's very easy to get distracted by Whatnot, but then we came back to eBay over the last week or so because we had like 3 or 4 days right before FlipCon that we had 0 sales. And I was like, let's just see what we can do. And I just went back to my reselling roots. I'm like, okay, well, let's send offers. Let's redo old listings. Let's drop prices. Let's, do whatever we can. And we did almost $3,000 in sales in the last like 4 days on our pretty stagnant eBay store. We only have 3 listings, and we only had about 300 things listed in our store, and we had 40 things going out from this past weekend. So that's more than 10% of our entire store sold in the course of a holiday weekend. So I still know how to resell. Just because I enjoy YouTube doesn't mean I lost all my knowledge.
I have a YouTube question for you. It's hard. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to get a word in edgewise. But that's okay because it's interesting to listen to. Do you? Because I am a content consumer. I am not a content creator. Mm-hmm. Do you ever have days where you're just like, oh, I got to do another video, like the feed the algorithm burnout?
Occasionally. I think anybody who does YouTube full time has experienced burnout to some degree. But it helps if you really enjoy it. If you start making YouTube videos just to chase the money and the fame or whatever that comes along with it, you're gonna get burnout more easily. But yeah, we all have those. Like today, we were supposed to post a video yesterday, and we didn't do that, so we got to post it today. And Haley's editing it now, and I still got to film the outro. So it's like it does feel like work sometimes, but I still enjoy it for the most part.
Well, that's good to hear. And do you are you one of those that everything is content? Like, do you film everything and then you just kind of figure out what you're going to put together?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it. Because reselling, there's 2 people that watch reselling videos. There's newbies that are hungry for information, and there's people that know everything and they just want entertainment. So there's very little middle ground, because it takes a newbie about 90 days before they feel like they know everything, because reselling is not that complicated. It's not easy, but it's fairly simple. So people are always looking for like BOLOs and things like that. So we've tried to, you notice our channel used to be more like heavy on education. And then over the last year and a half or so, we've focused more on like the entertainment style videos. That's less liability, less giving out information. People hold you accountable for what you say. But if you're just vlogging your life and showing people what you're doing, it's entertaining for some reason. And it's, again, less liability. So I still give little tips here and there, but I don't really go into deep dives about reselling anymore. There's plenty of people on YouTube that know way more than I do.
Awesome. I would say that we're probably more of an entertainment channel for the most part, but we do give out a lot of information. Like our Sunday show is our main show. It's just,
I'd say it's pretty
Sunday
educational.
Live show.
I mean, we could be entertaining while we educate.
That's true. But what we talk about is we'll talk about our real numbers, which a lot of YouTubers don't, which you do. I appreciate that, because you are someone that, and I just follow more than YouTube. I actually follow your content on Instagram because it's easier for me to absorb that content, because I'm not a consumer for YouTube that much. I'm just not. But I like that you share your numbers as well. Like you talked about, you had the 40 something items going out over the weekend, and this is what your sales were like. And you show your seller hub, which a lot of sellers don't do that. And I could appreciate that. And I think your viewers do too, because I know our viewers love the fact that we break down the numbers. Like, okay, not every week is a $4,000 week in sales, and we're real about that. Last week I had a crappy week. I think I did like 1,600. That's crappy for me, but that also is not crappy for somebody else necessarily. So we always talk about, okay, here's where we should be and what we like to be at. But this is the reality of this up and down roller coaster of reselling. This is what we paid for cost of goods. This is what the sales numbers are. And this is what the net profit is. And I think people that share those type of numbers like yourself and like us, I think that's important, because it gives people a lot of, it gives them perspective. Like we can all look at and say, oh my God, I did $50,000 in sales this month. Well, if you spent $40,000 to get that $50,000 plus, it's not quite as impressive that way, is it? Like let's people can realistically say, oh, I can spend $5 in this item and sell it for 100. Oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being transparent with your numbers is, when we started making reselling videos, I was like, why is nobody talking about this? Like, everybody's talking about their sales and stuff, and they might, offhandedly mention how much they roughly paid for something. But I'm like, nobody's talking about income tax or like all the fees. So I just started doing like cardboard breakdowns where I do my gross sales and after fees, after shipping, after cost of goods. Let's take out another 25% for taxes. And here's what I'm actually making. And it's super easy to do that. And it adds to like the relatability, because I'm like, hey, we made $400 this weekend, and people are like, how can you live on that? I'm like, I don't know. We live in South Carolina. It's not expensive. Being honest, building trust with your audience on YouTube is very important, because if you ever get to a point where your viewers stop trusting you, that's pretty much the death of your channel. So doing whatever you can to build that trust and build that relationship, although it is fairly one-sided. We have 300 and probably more than 300,000 people that know who we are, but I'm like, I know 100 of you, so it is kind of weird that way. But as long as the trust, exists in some form, you should be good to go.
Well, I think like the world of social media is like this idea, people get caught up in the idea that you want to put your best face forward and you only want to show your successes. And then when you're like an influencer, you have to inflate that. And so you get the stuff where people post the pictures of like the 500 packages going out from the weekend. But it's like, if you don't know what the cost of goods are, that doesn't really mean anything. There's no anchor for you to have any reference to what that means. If you don't know if they paid, if their margins are only 1% or if they're 30%, it's not really giving out any information. It's just like a false idea of success.
Yep.
Theresa created this great spreadsheet that we use every Sunday, and it needs to be updated at this point.
It needs updated. Awful.
We added platforms, so now it needs to be updated. But she created this Excel spreadsheet that actually breaks down all the fees from the different platforms for us, so that we plug our numbers in every week. X number of items sold on eBay, X number sold on Etsy, X number sold through whatnot. And here's our cost of goods and the cost of shipping. And, so it shows everything except the tax breakdown that you talked about. It shows everything because everybody's tax bracket is different, right?
Yeah.
But we show like the net profit of sales anyway.
Net profit and ASP and that kind of stuff that people, I will tell you, 5 years ago, people weren't talking about ASP and net profit. They were just talking about, I bought this for $0.25 and I sold it for $10. And I'm like, that's nothing to brag about. Like when you start figuring out, time and all that other sort of stuff. But people, being a finance and numbers person, I get that most people aren't. And if you're not, if you buy something for $0.25, 50 cents and you sell it for $12, you think that's awesome because you don't understand those. So I appreciate the people that take the time to break it down for the audience and for those people because I do feel like you're educating people that the simplicity of it that may not know that, without that information. But I have go ahead.
I was just saying, it's also cool because I know for a fact that all like thrift store employees and Goodwill employees are watching our videos. So I think it also like showing them like, hey, just because we bought this at Goodwill for $5 and sold it for 40 doesn't mean that's all profit. Like there's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes of cleaning and photographing and shipping and fees and taxes and all this stuff. Like we're not, you can't price your stuff at 80% of eBay values because then it's not profitable for us. And you're only going to be selling to people that want it for personal use, and you guys get so many donations, you're going to be up to your eyeballs in no time. So I like being transparent because it's not quite as bougie of a lifestyle as people on the outside maybe picture it as,
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into reselling. I think people think it's a real easy get rich quick, flip quick, make good money fast type of thing. And I think that's partially inflated by some of the content that's out on YouTube and social media in general. I think people think, oh my God, this is so easy. And then they realize within a few months that this is an actual job. You have to actually work it. It's not that, I mean, it's not rocket science. Don't get me wrong. It's a pretty easy formula to harness if you want to put the work in.
Yeah.
And those of us that have been doing it for years and years and years, we do it because we love it. Just like you said with YouTube, like I don't share my numbers because you don't want to follow me if you saw my numbers. I have several.
I know you made $95,000 last year because you were on the cover.
Yeah, it was on Parade Magazine.
Because it was on the cover of Parade Magazine, right? But okay, so let me tell you, that wasn't because it didn't go into the details of this. I do a lot of reseller interviews for eBay, for List Perfectly, for government relations, all kinds of stuff. I have no idea. I remember talking to somebody specifically about books on Amazon, which I never talk about.
Yeah.
I rarely talk about Amazon because I do not like the platform. I don't like selling on it. It's not for everybody. But you know, Amazon for years was my bread and butter. Did I ever talk about it? No, because selling on eBay was fun. Selling on Amazon was a pain in the neck and frustration, and
it's not fun at all.
It is not fun at all. And everyone's like, why do we do it? Because the ROI and the turnaround is so great. Why do I sell shoes that cost me $16 to a pair when somebody returns them because they bought two and I just know one of them's coming back? And so, but I forgot my whole point of this. Because I don't talk about the numbers because I have different streams of income, but I love what I do. And the eBay community is where I decided to put my time and energy, and the reselling community, because that's what's fun. Yeah. And, you know, if I told you what my eBay, I mean, I looked at my eBay numbers last month after FlipCon, and it was a shock to me. And let me tell you what I did all weekend while everybody's out enjoying the last weekend of summer. I worked my butt off from Friday until yesterday at probably 1 a.m. because I know I need to get my eBay game back up, because even though it's not my number one, it was pathetic. And so
you have what people don't know is that you have so many different revenue streams.
Yeah,
and not all of it's reselling, and like you get stuff like having an Airbnb, and you have businesses that we don't even know about because you won't even tell us, your closest friends.
So I am not a public person. I am a very private person. So
you have other partners.
Yeah, I do. I have different things that I work with and do different stuff for that. Yeah. But where's my passion? Reselling. Mm-hmm. And if I want to make extra money because I want to do something, I know how to, like you said, Josh, you just got to work harder. I know, like, this is what I tell everybody. When I did the 9-to-5 thing, and I was a career professional for 30 years and I worked 15-hour days and I loved my job. It was the best job ever. Malarkey. That's just a bunch of BS, because I worked my butt off and my paycheck never, ever changed. Yep. And so now I know that all that work that I did this weekend, my eBay payout next week, I already know is going to be 4 times what it was last week, because I've already made that many sales. So the point is that we do this, we love it. And that's why we're doing this, I don't know, what am I, 26 years or 20, I just say 25 plus now. But I want to go back to something before we get off. I want to ask Josh about YouTube. What is your most fun or favorite YouTube celebrity run-in story? Like somebody that saw you that run into this. Because let me tell you, I saw some people that were totally fangirling at FlipCon, and it was so fun to watch. And this one, I won't out her, but she was just like, oh my gosh. Oh. I said, I get it. I understand. Yeah. He will talk to you. Just give him a minute.
I mean, FlipCon was definitely, it was fun. I absolutely loved meeting everybody, but I will say that's the only time we've ever felt like almost overwhelmed with it. Like meeting people at the flea market or thrift store, like we love that because it's quick. Usually there was one lady that stopped us at the thrift store and talked for like 30 minutes, and Haley was too nice to like tell her no to like stop talking. I'm like, I'll always say, anytime you ever see us out in public, we'll always say, hey, have a short conversation. We just maybe not talk to you for 30 minutes.
That's me. I'm the one that can, I will stay the whole time. I would have been Haley.
And I just kind of
Katy walks away. Katy just walks away and leaves me there.
And because it's weird, like it's an honor that people like think of us that way. Like we're just normal people, they just think we're celebrities because they see us on their TV screens or computer screens. So I understand, but FlipCon it was great meeting everybody, but there was multiple times where I'm like, I just need to get away just for like 5 minutes, just have 5 minutes of like peace and quiet. But then I think that's the good part about the capacity of that event. I think we had 300 people there, around 300 people, and it was only a day and a half. So it was like just long enough for everybody that wanted to meet us could meet us, and like everybody else that was there. But it was packed. So next year we're going to extend it another day just to probably keep the capacity and extend it another day to make it a little less stressful on everybody.
Yeah, you crammed an awful lot into like 36 hours. I was I was surprised by how many people you had. Like I had just had surgery, or Katy and I would have come, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to make it next year. But like you had so much packed into 36 hours. I was like, oh my God, these people are going to be dead by the end of this event. Like,
But let me tell you, I was very impressed that that room was full at 7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to actually
We're starting later this year because
it's Vegas.
You're in Vegas,
and people got Vegas last year. That's what I said, because we had so few people. Like you were there bright and early every morning because you're not a partier. So, we're there at 6:37 in the morning, and then some people were strolling in at 10, 11. I'm like, okay. So like if I pay to go to a conference, I'm there the whole time. I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah, FlipCon was amazing. It was fun.
Well, I want to ask about a little bit more about Whatnot, Josh, because of because of your YouTube, it's like so easily monetized, obviously views and things like that. And of course, Whatnot is monetized in the sense that you're selling things. But I'm guessing you've already been thinking about, like, are there other ways that you can monetize, like the time that you're putting into on Whatnot?
I don't really want to push it too hard. I hear an echo on my end.
Yeah, there's an echo.
I don't know who's got two screens open here.
Not me.
Seems like it's only when Josh is talking.
No, you too.
I can hear it. I don't know. I'll just keep going.
I don't hear it.
I don't think I hear it anymore. Well, now I do.
That's okay. Just keep going.
Okay. I don't want to push it too hard with Whatnot because we're already just so grateful that so many people show up to all of our shows and support us. So in terms of like supplementary ways to monetize Whatnot, I don't think we're going to pursue anything. I mean, I think it'd be cool to have. I don't know, like we listen to Dave Ramsey's show a lot, and they have like broadcasting live from the pods moving in storage studio, whatever. It's cool to have like maybe a sponsor for the Whatnot setup or something. List perfectly Whatnot setup. I don't know. But that's the only thing I can think about in terms of extra monetization and Whatnot.
Sorry, the echo is really loud.
I don't hear it at all.
You don't even hear the echo?
You're the only one not echoing.
Oh, look, Wade's in there too. Yeah, it's interesting because they're talking about now they're going to be doing like adding tipping on Whatnot.
Adding what?
Tipping. Like the ability to
like look both ways before you cross the street tipping?
No, like I watch a show, I like it. I don't want to buy any of your stuff, but I'm going to tip you $5 because I'm being entertained or something like that. So it's like you don't have to sell something because the thing is like people will do stuff like
super chats.
Yeah, but people will do stuff on Whatnot, like, put up stickers or I think you've even done this, Josh, like, different things that people can buy, like a small money amount or whatever. But you still have to ship something to them, but they're talking about adding like a feature where you actually get tips.
Yeah, not having to ship something would be really nice.
Right?
Do you get the super chat stuff on your channel? A lot of that?
When we do live streams, we do typically. It just gets to a point like our live streams, we haven't done one in a while, but maybe we do one once every month and a half. And generally we'll have, I think last time we had over 1,000 people. So it gets to a point where the only way we can see people's comments is if they super chat. It's not people always think people have to pay to ask us questions. It's not that. It's just that when people start to super chat, we only have time to read those because I'm definitely going to read those. If people pay to ask us a question, I'm definitely going to get to that. But then we just spend the whole time reading super chats. So it's a little bit.
Yeah, you have a lot. I mean, because the chat goes so fast. Obviously, ours is easy. On a Sunday, we typically have 100 to 120 people when we're doing our Sunday live. The Wednesdays are a little bit lighter because I think people work during the week. A lot of people do.
Yeah.
And we'll get a lot of, we're getting enough views after the event, but we don't have quite as many live when we're doing a show like this.
Mm-hmm.
But we only do lives. So like you do, most of your stuff is pre-recorded, edited. You've got your professional intro, outro. We're too damn lazy. We talk about it all the time. We just don't do it. We're too lazy.
We're not too lazy. We've got other stuff that we focus on. We're not YouTubers like that. Like that's a full-time we know job. That if you really want to be successful at YouTube, it has to be kind of a full-time job. Like I would assume you probably spend at least as much time doing your YouTube as you do reselling.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and Haley's starting to edit some videos now. Like she's editing a video right now, so that's helping a little bit. But there was a long period of time where it was like Haley was doing like 40 to 50 hours on reselling, and I was doing like 20 hours reselling and like 20 to 30 on YouTube. And now we have Kim, we have an employee now, and Haley's doing some of the editing, so it's kind of all balanced out a little bit. But most of my time is probably still spent on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's clearly where you're that's your moneymaker now. So it's like that's your main, focus, and should be clearly when you've got the audience that you have, and you want to keep that audience and keep growing that audience, and you want to, all of that stuff. Where Katy and I, we hit 10,000 subs, I don't know, a little over a year ago. I think we're at 10,400 at this point. I mean, really, we haven't grown at all.
We're only doing like a live show once a week. We don't do the pre-recorded stuff. And it's like, honestly, it just comes down to like not being willing to put that time into it. I'd rather be working on like just my reselling.
You didn't get the boost after Reseller Remix that Josh got?
Apparently
Josh took them all.
Josh
what's up with that?
Of the new viewers that week. No boost for us whatsoever.
It could have been the timing too, because like YouTube, the money you make on YouTube and generally the views and stuff are dependent on the companies that are buying ads from YouTube. And it just so happens that the BOSS Reseller Remix happens like right at the beginning of Q4 or end of Q3 or something, when all this new ad revenue is coming into YouTube for Q4 specifically. Like October is, for the last 3 years, October has been our biggest YouTube income month consistently.
Interesting.
I mean, it's like drastic. Like last October, I think we made more on YouTube last October than I made at my salary job that I got laid off from as an insurance underwriter, just in that 1 month.
Crazy.
Now, will you, now that you see that trend, will you focus to do more of something to
content?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I didn't really realize it was always October until like last December. And so I'm like, okay, I'm really excited for October again. So we'll probably do at least some piece of content every day, like either an edited video or a YouTube short, just to like keep the YouTube algorithm.
You need to do some blooper reels or something in there.
Yeah.
Something that you already have that you can just mix together.
What was that?
I said something you already have that you can just mix together and just post it up one
day. With YouTube Shorts now, like there's a lot of old. We have over 500 videos of like really cool stuff that happened, and you can just go and like take little snippets of like that old video and just like repurpose it into a short. Shorts don't make really any money, but they're really great for reaching new audience. Like if we post
a lot of views, I've noticed when I look at the numbers, it's like,
the views.
I think I was looking at yours, and it's like I'll see you have really big numbers on your YouTube videos, but then it'll be like this huge jump, and I'm like, oh, that's a short, that's a short, that's a short, and it's like 10 times the views.
People have short attention spans. That's exactly why they're doing that. I mean, because of Instagram Reels and TikTok, and people don't want to spend more than like 90 seconds watching somebody. That's me. Theresa, I'm the same, and yet we have a 90-minute show once a week. I'm the antithesis of my consumer.
Yeah,
I treat YouTube Shorts. Shorts are like TikTok. The Wicked Reseller does that, but I almost treat them like advertisements for our long form content on the channel. So like, you just want your short to be just like intriguing enough to like get somebody to subscribe or watch a long form video. And it's pretty easy.
Inspired reseller. That's those are our newlyweds from the Reseller Remix last year. I saw that they went to FlipCon.
Yeah, they went to FlipCon
this year. They were so cute. They got married 2 days before the remix last year, and we kind of made the remix party their wedding reception. Yeah. It was so fun. We're waiting for them to have babies, and then there can be like a remix baby. Yeah. So,
I mean, I expect that one of them will be named after me. Though.
I just call them Mr. and Mrs. Remix.
Can I be godmother? I mean, I don't know.
Awesome.
Tommy in Seattle says, realistically, Josh, how long can you keep the YouTube channel going? Plans for when you're 40, 50, 60. I just hope I make it to 40, 50, and 60. That'll be blessing enough. But we're also very, we're not super frugal people, but we're compared to like, we haven't given into lifestyle inflation with this like boost of income, I mean, we have this house, but we really just needed it. Like if we wanted to rent this warehouse space, it would probably cost the same as our mortgage for the house and warehouse, so technically saving money, right? I don't know.
We just did the same thing. We just moved in April. It was the same thing. We almost doubled our square footage and doubled the price that we were paying, but it was that or a warehouse space, and being under one roof makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. So hopefully you're socking away a lot of money, investing it.
Yeah. We're just, we're maxing out our, we don't even qualify for Roths anymore, but we're maxing out our regular 401ks for the business. And, if we just maintain this for another 10 years, we could probably retire at that point. Maybe not like super wealthy retired, but maintaining our current lifestyle, we could probably retire at this point.
Comfortable.
So as long as it lasts another 10 years, we're good to go. And then I do want to like invest in other, like I would love to own some other type of business. Like I'm super jealous of Allison's snow cone cart thing.
Right?
I love that.
Snow cones in Alaska.
Just make enough money on YouTube, invest it all, and like live off like 60 grand a year, and then just take my snow cone cart around on the weekends for play money. That's the dream.
See, to me, that's
in Alaska.
Yeah, only Alice can sell snow to Eskimos.
Yeah, she sells out every time she's like, "Oh, sold out." I'm like, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's crazy.
My favorite is the Airbnb. Because of the really, and I did kind of what you were doing.
Area for it. I don't know. We're in Columbia, South Carolina, Lexington, South Carolina. So it's not really a tourist destination.
Guess what? So my Airbnb
Be
was
surprised.
3 miles from my home. I'm living with my mom, 3 miles from here. And I did it because like you, I needed office space. And when I moved in with my mom, her garage is her quilting studio. So I couldn't do that. And just a 400 square foot office space was $1,500. And I said, this is stupid. So I bought an Airbnb, and when I bought a house. The garage and the master suite was my office and my inventory. And I rented out the rest for 4 years. And then I cashed in, and like, that was the best thing ever. Yeah. And now I want to go and buy more of those because it really, I broke even. Like for 1 year, I think I net just dollar for dollar. I lost $157 on that property, just income in, income out. But of course you have I love real estate. And so you have that, rise in that real estate. But, I was looking for a place like you, so I could put a big warehouse on it and that whole kind of stuff, which will be my ultimate dream, my ultimate spot. But so I can work on, on site. But I just think that to me, that's where I hired somebody to manage the property. I didn't have to do the cleaning and all that sort of stuff. And looks like it's hands off. That's that going out in the snow cone, while it sounds fun. I don't know. I think that every weekend it might get to be too much, but she has a shorter season. So I don't know. That's what I think about. Cause I would love to have a kettle corn business.
Kettle corn.
So you can do snow cones and kettle corn. There you go, Josh.
I like people. I like being around people, and I feel like a snow cone cart is like, it's hard work, but like if you enjoy it, if you enjoy being around people and working hard, but you also like reap 100% of the benefits from I would never work at a snow cone cart, but I would like to own a snow cone cart that I work at. So
and then you just be like the owner, the guy that just comes and hangs out at the snow cone cart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have you ever met anybody getting a snow cone that's miserable? I mean,
no.
You don't have to deal with customer service issues. Nobody's returning their snow cone because it didn't fit.
I like to cry while eating my snow cones.
Yeah. I think my next, I got to talk Haley into it, but I would love to get into like a Turo car rental business, because that's like an Airbnb, but a lot cheaper. Like you could just get like a Honda Civic or something for like 20 grand and just put it on Turo. We rented a Tesla for Vegas. I don't know, Model S or something like that. And it was like $500 for like 3 days. I'm like, wow, there's their Tesla payment covered in just us. And they've got the whole other month rented out. So it's the rental income without like, you get a depreciating asset, but at least it's some income, and I think that may be a little stepping stone to an Airbnb.
I think Chris Lynn did that a couple of years ago. I think he was doing Turo or something similar with.
He had like a bunch of them, I think.
He had a couple of
he was
economy cars.
Yeah, he was in a prime area. What I started to tell you about my Airbnb was that I did it in a little family neighborhood just 3 miles from my mom's, and I was booked a lot, mostly because it was people that were coming for graduations, family because, the people, whoever they were visiting, either didn't have any room, or, grandma and grandpa wanted to have some decompression time at night. And then there was a lot of wedding type stuff, and there's an equestrian park not too far, so I got a lot of horse people. But you know what? And when I bought it, I had no idea if it was going to be needed in the area, and it proved that it was. So don't discount living where you live, because other people might want to come to visit.
Yeah, Theresa's, she really is in a very quiet little suburb, mom and pop neighborhood area. So she's not in a major city either. So
Queen Creek, Arizona, ever heard of it?
Nope.
See?
We do have a military base here that's like for basic training. So they have graduations.
See?
Like you would do well. That's perfect.
And you find out, like, there's a Country Thunder Country, whatever, that's probably 40 minutes from my Airbnb. So I always found out what the dates those were. And that's when you increase your price for that weekend as early as you can find that. And you find the different weekends and you increase. And I didn't go crazy because I did want to still sell. But, the closer you get to the weekend, the higher you can go with your prices. So when you have that kind of a graduation weekend, and you just kind of learn what's going on in your neighborhood and work it that way.
Yeah, that's cool. How much did you spend furnishing it when you bought it?
I furnished it. So I sold a big house that I had, big 6-bedroom, 3-bath house. So I furnished it with all of that, most of that stuff. I bought a couple of mattresses, but I would say under $1,000.
Wow.
And then when I sold it, I sold everything. $100 for this, $100 for that, $100 for, because I didn't want to move anything.
Yeah.
And so I would say conservatively, you could do it if you got used stuff for under $5,000, easy under $5,000.
Yeah, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, you can get furniture pretty cheap. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, a lot of people that were coming to my place were coming to furnish their Airbnb.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
And I didn't.
Investment ideas, investment advice. I mean,
but, from a snow cone thing to it's all these side hustles, to a YouTube channel, to an Airbnb, to whatever. There's always. You always got to have a side hustle.
These are the conversations that you have with people when you go to an event like BOSS Reseller Remix. You're going to have these kinds of conversations. You're going to meet people and find out, like, oh, that person has a snow cone cart, like crazy. Maybe that's something, all these things like trigger ideas of things that you could be doing. And I think it's going to, Julie and Chris Brown are going to be doing a session on this last year. They bought a freaking lodge. Masonic Lodge. Like that, this enormous old building, and they're resellers, and they're going to share with us kind of like what happened, what they're doing with it. And it's such a crazy kind of out of the box idea that's going to like solve a lot of problems for them, but also create different revenues. It's just crazy.
I think those of us that are resellers, either full-time or heavily part-time, we're all entrepreneurs at heart. So I feel like that whole side hustle becomes a side hustle, becomes another side hustle. Like we're hustlers, right? That's what we do. You you have to work to make the money come to you. This is not a 9-to-5 job. So we're just all of us talking and bouncing ideas off each other is just another way to find creative revenue streams, which I think is fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when you're in a group like this, everybody's very like money positive. Chris mentioned used that term at FlipCon, because it's like Ashley, Hustled Home Mom, was talking about a YouTube video where she found like $10,000 worth of stuff to resell, and then she made a video, and that video made $11,000. So it's like she would never say that on a YouTube video because she'd get a bunch of hate. She's bragging, or that's crazy, blah blah blah. But when you're in an event like this, like BOSS Reseller Remix, everybody's like interested in that. They want to know. So it's an opportunity for us to like really dive deep into because I know a bunch of people are curious about the money on YouTube. Somebody mentioned it earlier, and I would never say that on the internet, but if you give me a private, I'm an open book with this stuff, and it's pretty incredible, like the different ways you can monetize and money that comes in from various methods. So it's very cool.
Yeah, Danny has been very open with her friends and sharing with us privately how how the monetization has worked for her and the type of money that she's been bringing in. Again, it's probably not something she'll talk about on her channel or publicly, obviously. But if you want to have a conversation, I mean, it's very realistic. We're not talking $200 a month. That's me and Katie. We don't sell crap. Our YouTube is terrible. But I mean, it's a significant, very significant life-changing amount of money. If you can harness this algorithm and learn how to do this properly and do it well, the way Josh does, the way Danny does, the way so many other YouTubers do, it's a very significant amount of money for a lot of work. It's not easy. If it were easy, everybody would be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I did something similar to what you're talking about, Josh. When I moved out of my big house, I decided that instead of donating all the stuff, I was going to sell it. And I did a little blog that lasted for about 10 minutes called Selling My Life on eBay. And I sold all my stuff, and I've been tracking it. And so when people didn't have inventory during 2020 is when I actually got a ton of mine listed, because I hired a college kid. Mm-hmm. And I've been tracking that. And the last time I updated my spreadsheet, I have made over $80,000 selling my personal junk stuff. It wasn't junk stuff, just from that. And so, like, my work clothes, and I have it broken down by room. So I had a playroom. I have no kids, but I was the best auntie because I had this awesome playroom. And just the playroom alone was a gold mine of stuff from the 90s that now I'm selling, that everybody that's having kids. And my laundry room decor that I bought at Ross for, $3 or $5, that was like, I made over $1,500 on that. And it's like, because if I bought something for $5, I didn't sell it for $5. I sold it for $30. It's like, so my point is that everybody has something. I had this theory in my head that rather than go back to work, I would sell all this stuff in a year. It took me 5. And I would make $100,000. Well, I'm still not at $100,000, but 3 moves later and all that sort of stuff. So I think that these are you're talking about not doing money, and I don't talk about that. One day I think I'm going to update my blog, but probably not. But just maybe give that idea to somebody else. I had the space to store the stuff, which was the huge thing about being able to sell it instead of just donating it. And then I had the Airbnb to put the furniture in. And when I sold the Airbnb, I sold the furniture. So, there's all these moving parts to it. But I think that this is what these events do, is they trigger ideas. Mm-hmm. So somebody says, if she can make $80,000 selling her stuff, maybe I should sell some of my stuff instead of just donating it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ziggy says, I have a zillion ideas, but don't act on any of them. I think one of the things we're really going to
starts with one.
One of the things we're really going to encourage this year at the Remix is getting people to kind of make decisions and set some goals for themselves going forward, because you're going to have all these ideas. You're going to have all these epiphanies. You're going to have all this, you're going to be super jazzed at the event. You're going to have all this energy coming out of it. And we're going to really be encouraging people to make some concrete goals or set some things into motion of what they're going to do when they get home, because it is really important.
Harness that energy. Harness that, because as resellers, this is a very solitary game. We talk about this all the time. If you're lucky, you have a partner like Josh and Haley or Katy and I. You have someone that you can do this with that makes it that much better for you, right? But if you're not, or if you're alone, or if you have a partner that is not invested or a partner with you in the business itself, it can be very solitary. So if you don't make these connections through reselling events or through making YouTube friends or Facebook friends, because let's just say, our virtual friends are friends too. These are friendships that last, and having those people to help boost you up when you're feeling stagnant, or when you're feeling alone, or when you're feeling like this is not something you want to continue doing on your own. That's so important. These, whether it's the local meetup that you go to, or you tune into, Facebook Lives, or whatever it is that you need to make that connection and community. And like last year, the theme of our event was it was community. It was coming together. It was community. It was inclusivity. It was, we wanted everybody to feel like they were part of something bigger than themselves. And this year, subconsciously, somehow it kind of turned into, our theme this year is more about rethinking your selling space. And
completely rethinking what it means to be a reseller, and thinking outside the box and looking at the bigger picture. And because the reality is, in 2022 as a reseller, it's not all about just, I sell on eBay and that's it. You really do have to kind of open your eyes and look at, like, okay, well, how do I adapt to the way the marketplace is changing, and be able to actually grow as a reseller, grow your business.
Josh, do you do anything to help you keep accountable? Like that's a huge thing, is accountability, because it's like, if I don't take those pictures today, nobody's going to say, oh, you didn't take those pictures today.
Not really. I really like working.
Me too.
You know, like I probably look forward to Mondays more so than like the weekends. Well, the weekends because we go to the flea market, but like I just enjoy. It's just like my hobby. My hobby is like building a business and like making more money. Not because like I want to be some rich mansion owner one day, but just because I it's cool, you know. I've been very poor at certain points in my life. I've had to go to a food bank for food at one time, and just now to like see like a really strong positive correlation with like the amount of work and attention I give the business, and then like an increase in income, and then we can hire people and provide for their families, and we could donate. You know, we just did a big fundraiser for a charity really close to our hearts called Mi Esperanza.
Which was amazing, by the way. The amount of money that you raised was fantastic.
Yeah, most of that money came from other people supporting us and whatnot. But I think we bought all the stuff for the auction out of pocket, you know, and 5 years ago, we never would have been able to do that. Like I remember when I was an insurance salesman when Haley and I first got married, and I was technically self-employed. And so we did our taxes and I ended up owing like $980. I didn't make that much money. I think I made like $10,000 that first year, but I owed like $900 or something in taxes. And I didn't have that money. I had to do like a payment plan to pay $900 over the course of 12 months to the IRS. And now I'm like, you know, writing multiple 5-figure checks to the IRS every quarter, and it makes me sick, but it's just an annoyance. It's not like that I don't have the money anymore. So just seeing how far my life has come and where we are now, it's just very motivating. So I don't.
I think it's motivating for other people too. I mean, that's the reality, is that you being so transparent with your story is motivating for other people, because I think, you know, I've also been poor. I was a single mom for 12 years, and, you know, I've had my utilities shut off on me, and you know, and not knowing whether I'm going to pay the electric bill or buy groceries for my kid. And I think that when you come from and you've had those experiences, for me, it's just been in the last 4 or 5 years that I've actually, since Katy and I got together, actually, where I've, you know, quadrupled my sales online and learned how to really harness this business. I've been selling for 25 years.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's all you. But I've been selling for 25 years, and I've always been in sales. And yet this last 5 years or so, having somebody that supports me and that we work well together has made all the difference in my business. And to not feel like, oh, I can't make a commitment to go somewhere because I don't have the money to do that, is very liberating, to finally be able, like, oh, I can buy that thing or buy that plane ticket, or not have to think so hard about it. Mm-hmm. And not have to worry about, you know, pulling it out of a savings account, or even having a savings account. I didn't have a savings account for years and years and years. So
yeah,
all of that stuff.
That's probably my favorite thing about reselling and like just being your own boss is like, if you want to go to the path of like going to college and getting a degree and being, you know, best case scenario financially, maybe a doctor, you know, even if you're a fantastic doctor, you're going to make what, $500,000 a year, maybe 600 if you're like a plastic surgeon or something. And then after you pay taxes and malpractice insurance, it's going to be more like 300,000. But if you're a business owner, there are people that are literally selling thrifted items out of their garage, making that much money. Like that there's no end to the amount of income you can make when you are your own boss running your own business. And that is just so attractive to me. I absolutely love that. I went to this insurance event one time. It's every time I think about this, it just makes me cringe, but it was something insurance. It was in Texas, and I went, my boss paid for the trip. But while I was there, I had like $200 in my bank account. And I was like, we're going to have a good time. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine there. We went, one of the free time, we went to this bowling alley, and I went to go pay for the Uber to get to the bowling alley, and my card got declined. I was like, what the heck? And on the way to, he was like, I'll get the Uber. And on the way to the bowling alley, I checked my bank account, and my car insurance had like hit my bank, and I was like overdrafted. I had no money. All my credit cards were maxed out, no money in the account. We were on the way to this bowling alley that I said I was going to pay for. And like, I was like, hey man, I don't know. I don't have any money. I'm really sorry. Like, can you pay for the Uber back? And he ended up paying for bowling and the Uber back. And I had to ask my boss for like $40 in cash just to have something on me in case something else came up, because we were there for 2 more days. And that was right around that low point in my life when I didn't really know what was going on at all. But
those are what I call humbling switch points.
Yeah.
Where you're humbled by them later, because you certainly don't feel humbled when they happen, but it's a switch point. Something turns on you and go, I can't do this. This isn't working. And then you're like, something happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then years later, when you look back, you're like, oh, that's what, then you're humbled by it. But when you're in the middle of it, no. I mean, I think that we all have those kind of stories. And I think that going back to what Vikki said with the couple thing, I think that at least from my what I see, the most successful sellers are the ones that are couples. When you're not doing it, when you're a couple and you resell, I think it's not just the dollars, it's just the lifestyle. It's the having somebody to talk to about it, having somebody understands what you're doing. Because, I can hire people, but it's not the same as having somebody that's there, that's your partner, and that you want to go to the flea market with, or whatever you want to do. And so I think that those are, if you're in a couple relationship and you can find somebody that likes what you do, then I think that you have, several steps ahead of the rest of us, because it does make a difference.
For sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it for sure does.
All right. Well, we're past an hour here, so
I could talk to Josh for another 2 hours.
Josh,
for sure.
Josh has work to do, and I
He's
got
got
a
work to
Zoom
do.
call.
He's not making any money here. Come on. So do we want to give away a couple of virtual tickets?
Yeah, I think we do. I think before we head out, I want to ask a couple of questions of our audience, our live audience. That you have to be in the chat to get a virtual ticket. So we will give a couple of away. I have one question, then maybe you guys can ask some other questions. Okay.
Okay. Well, so real quick though, for anyone who doesn't know, we're having a virtual option for the remix. It's not live streamed. It is going to be.
We don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, all of the sessions are going to be recorded, and then within a week after the event, those will be made available privately to all the people who are virtual ticket holders. So that's basically what you'll be getting. So
as well as in-person ticket holders, you're going to get.
Well, yes,
you're going to get the streaming. You're going to get the sessions if you happen to miss a session, or if you come in late, or if you get Vegas and you miss it. You'll be able to have the content when you go home.
Yes. Basically, anybody that has a ticket, whether it's in person or virtual, is going to have access to those videos. So anyway, so we'll ask a question.
Yeah,
and
I
then
have one question.
whoever answers first will win the ticket.
Mm-hmm. And it's whoever comes up first in the way that we see it. Okay,
yeah, because it's not always the same on
the chat is different on everybody's screen. So whoever we see first on our side is who it's going to be. So my question is this. So we have a lot of people in our chat here that watch just us. And I also see a lot of different names that I'm sure Josh has brought in from his channel and his followers. So what I want to ask is, those of you that are fans of Josh and Haley's YouTube channel, what is Josh's dog's name?
I don't know the answer.
Too easy.
I know the answer.
So you're going to have to say who the winner is.
And go. Answer that in the chat.
I know Allison knows.
Yeah, Allison doesn't count. She's already got a ticket anyway. Okay, so it is this 440 Kiefer. Yep.
What?
No, I'm sorry. Eclectic Element. Yep,
yeah,
you're right.
Eclectic Element.
Eclectic Element. You got it first.
There you go. So Eclectic Element, if you could email, my email is down below, aboutiqueforhim@gmail. If you could email me, so I have your email address and your name, I can add you to our list so that you will get that information and those videos.
So Eclectic Element, and we had somebody asking, what is Josh's channel? Josh's channel is called Hairy Tornado. There is a link
it's
below.
Linked down below.
Everything is linked below. Josh's channel is linked below.
We really want to do him a favor and drive some traffic on his way. So
yeah.
We want to help him, push him to the next level.
All 5 of you that do not already follow Josh, please go boost his algorithm.
He's really needing it right now.
Yeah, he's really needing it for sure.
All right, Theresa, do you have any question to do another giveaway?
No, go ahead.
Okay, well, now I gotta think of something. Or Josh, maybe you got one.
Josh, do you have a question?
Think about you throwing out a lot of numbers during this show.
There was a lot of numbers.
Let's see. Oh, I got one. Okay, so last year, and again, this is going to be whoever answers this first is going to win. And remember, if you're already coming, you already have a ticket, refrain from answering. I know you want to flex how smart you are, but just let somebody who actually can use the ticket answer first. But the question is, last year when Josh and Haley were in Vegas for the remix, what kind of car did they rent? What kind of car did they rent? And we'll see whoever answers this first.
I know.
Theresa, not you.
You already have a ticket, Theresa.
I don't have a ticket. I heard I don't need one.
Fun fact about that car, after the first night, you guys have a lot of curbs. I'm not going to say the car. You guys have a lot of curbs in Vegas.
Uh-huh.
And well, people are answering. Brett was the first
All right,
one.
Brett, are you not coming in person this year?
Brett,
I know you came last year.
Ticket?
I want to make sure that because you'll already have access. Anyway, you had a lot of curbs, and what happened?
We had a lot of curbs. We were leaving the happy hour, and I hit a curb in the Tesla and popped 2 tires. And
Jeez.
popping tires in a Tesla it's bad because Teslas don't have spare tires. And we had left. We had been awake for like 20 hours at that point. We were so tired. We called a tow truck, and he's like, "I'll be there about an hour and a half." I'm like, "We're in the middle of Las Vegas. Why are you an hour and a half away? This is crazy." But luckily, I didn't know what to do because I'm like, we rented it through Turo, so I was like, let's just tow us back to the Turo place and we'll take an Uber back to the hotel. But he was like, I got a guy that can fix your tires. So he towed us to some 24-hour tire repair shop at like 1:30 in the morning.
Oh,
and there's
those
just
are
one
sketchy.
guy, and
Those are sketchy.
they are sketchy, but they were it was like, I think it was like $210 for 2 tires, and he fixed them, got us something. We got back to the hotel at like 2:45.
Jeez.
And absolutely passed out. And I told the
Wow.
Turo people, I was like, I'm so sorry.
That's crazy.
I popped 2 tires. We replaced them. She's like, oh, it's fine. Most people just like steal the cars and we have to go impound them. So I'm just happy you brought it back. I'm like, okay, the bar for your customer expectations here is very low. I understand.
Apparently so. The
Dude,
bar.
she's like, with Teslas, people like never turn back in. So we just have to put them on valet mode. So you can't go over like 20 miles an hour. And then people just usually leave them on the side of the road somewhere and we have to go pick them up. Like,
Oh
that's
my
crazy.
goodness. Yeah, those are great places to get tires here. We have a bunch of them. I'm not so sure I'd be going at 2 a.m. That's the difference. I'd be going broad daylight, but you know.
Yeah, I was very trusting in that tow truck driver.
All right.
Yeah,
it
you
looks
sure
like Brett is not coming, can't come this year. So Brett, just go ahead and email me down below and give me your email address so that I can make sure you're on the list.
You get your virtual ticket over to you.
All right, so we're gonna wrap things up. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us for this special BOSS Reseller Remix Preview Wednesday show. Next week, you're gonna want to come back next week because we're actually gonna have Jack Dreesen from Whatnot is gonna be on next week's show Wednesday at 10 a.m. So you're definitely gonna want to come for that.
He'll be talking about all things Whatnot.
Yes, we love Jack. He's awesome. And Josh, thank you so much for coming and giving us some of your time today and hanging out.
Absolutely.
It was
Enjoyed
fun.
it.
I loved hearing your stories. I love hearing people's journeys because we all got here wherever we are on our journey in a different fashion. We all took a different road to get where we are. And after we all meet here, we're all going in different directions. And I just love it.
Yep. Very, very cool.
I like that this has made, reselling in general has like allowed us to intersect with so many people's different lives and journeys. I love that.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks,
Josh. We'll see you in a few weeks.
My pleasure.
Yep. Bye.